it on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Sorry about that. I was putting somebody in the queue. Got 2 callers in the queue already, just so you both know. 206 area code, 201 area code. I know you're both in the queue, so we're all good there. We want to make sure you guys are recognized and understand. I know you're in there, and we'll be out shortly. So I just want to say welcome to everybody listening today. Last week was a weird week. I came on. I didn't have any callers. It was a unique experience. We soldiered through. By the end of the show, we ended up doing 2 pretty boffo hours of radio, which was pretty intense and fun. Plus, we talked. I think we dispersed some ignorance, and we were able to give some really good information to people that were out there listening, and some really good perspective on Black Lives Matter and several other issues. So tonight we'll do some more of the same. We'll explore social commentary. We'll explore fun. We'll explore what's going on, and we're just going to explore. That's what exploring is on the Seinfeld of radio shows, which means we have no format and no agenda. But, of course, there's always an agenda and an agenda because that's how today is. So with that in mind, my 2 gentlemen on the phone, I will be right back with you in just 1 second. We're going to play one quick tune for 3 minutes and 50 seconds while I finish getting the studio set up for tonight, and we'll be ready to go. I want to thank everybody tuning in to Full Jugular with Ron Von Hess, Episode 2, sponsored by Kitsap Cannabis, 2 locations, one in Silverdale, another one in Port Orchard. Anything you need, cannabis experts running that place. These guys know what they're talking about and have the freshest, finest product. And, hey, if you come into the Northwest store in Port Orchard, you'll probably see yours truly, Ron Von Hess, in there. If you do, reach out and say hello. I'll be the guy wearing the Kitsap Cannabis black sweatshirt. All right, and I got the bald head and the big mouth. I'll be hard to miss. All right, so now we've got our ads and everything out of the way. It is 9:16. We're going to be right back with people in our queue, and we're going to start our dialogue for the evening. We're just going to get set up. Everybody take a deep breath, stretch out, go take a pee, hit the bowl, hit the pipe, have a drink, whatever you got to do for the next 3 minutes and 52 seconds, because when we come back, we going to hit it hard. All right.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want.
All right. Thank you very much, folks, for waiting and being patient. I want to thank my guys in the queue. I'm going to go ahead and open up the queue now. Hopefully it won't have a lot of background static like last week. Guys, are you there?
Are you there?
I'm here. 206 area code. Are you there? Hello? 206? Okay, so we lost 206 maybe.
Can you hear me?
201. Whoever 206 is, please call back in so I can put you back in the queue. 201, are you still there?
I'm 201.
Is that you, Tony?
Yeah,
Perfect.
That's me.
I figured that was you. I wanted to make sure. Okay. I think that was Rob. I think that was my other guest. If you're listening, okay, I think that's my other guest. Hold on a second.
On there,
shit. Fuck. Hey, is Yadus about as fucking clusterfucky as you can get, but hey, man, it's like everything else we do. We'll get there. Hey, Rob, is that you?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
God, yes, that is the fucking first thing that has gone right in this show tonight. So I got both you guys in the queue. Well, no, like I said, this is comedy at its best always. But like, what's great is I tell people nothing is as fucking funny as me in real life. So I mean, in real life, like as both of you've been around me, I'm a true horror show in real life. I'm hell on wheels.
Oh yeah, you're a shit show.
I am. I'm a shit show, and on my best day, on my best moment of my life, it's still a shit show. But we have these three dogs.
But we all are shit shows.
Oh, yeah. Well, the shit show's fun to watch for everybody except the guy in the shit show, of course. And this guy in this shit show has been in it so long that I smile when it's raining shit. I just put my umbrella up and my windshield wipers and get out my diaper wipes, and it's just another day. But I'll tell you, I went out and walked the dogs and came in and saw what time it was, and I about shit my pants. And I'm like, oh, shit. It's like I was supposed to be on the air that minute, but I actually got on the air right on time, but they had a message coming on the board to me like, hey, asshole, you're supposed to be on. I'm like, I know. So I hit the button, and then boom. So the first right thing is you guys called in, and then I was trying to pre-do some audio, and everything was all fucked up. I tried to upload this cool song, and it's playing Peter Frampton, and I'm just like, okay, well, that's what kind of night it's going to be. So anyways, it is what it is. I don't know if either one of you guys listened to last week's show, but it was much of the same. I was relearning because I'm usually the way these shows work is there's somebody who's running the board, and then you've got a couple of hosts that are doing it. But I've been doing this so long here. Like I was with this network from the beginning, and I've had so many shows with these guys that I've done all the jobs that I can actually do everything, run the board, and do everything all together.
Sign guy isn't working for this show?
Oh no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't do my. He doesn't. He's my. He's only my. I only have an exec producer for this show. This is all produced by me, done by me, board by me. So like I said, it's a complete fucking shit show. So
you're learning.
But yeah, this is my third time doing a show where I run everything, the booth, the advertising, everything, and it's going pretty good. Hey, last time when I did this, I was so drunk during the blacklist. I shouldn't even say that name because it's so controversial. When I did that, I was so blackout drunk and angry, like I would have a hard time getting on the air. And then once I got in, Terry was like, "What was that?" She was asking me, "What was that like today?" I was like, "Well, I knew I was going to get real. I don't drink Mike's. I only drink Mike's hard lemonade because I can handle it. If I drink Mike's harder lemonade, it brings out a guy that lives in my head called.
Don't tell people that, Ron. Don't tell people you drink Mike's hard.
Well, yeah. It was my brother calls them bitch pops, but See, the thing is, when I drink the harder stuff that's a little bit harder, it brings out the other motherfucker from the other side of my brain. And that guy's not very nice.
I'm an alcoholic. I know.
That blackout mean part that's see, with me, alcohol in me is like true serum. So, me, I try to be nice and repress and be politically correct a lot. And when I drink, that just don't happen. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
This has been you trying to be politically correct?
This is me this is me with Paul Preston having me on my best behavior. So, And I haven't pissed him off yet since he took over. Since I've been doing pretty good. He always calls me up to tell me how well I'm doing on social media. I mean, I'm basically, I'm so busy because I don't know if you guys saw, but I got all the footage from Japan we're going to talk about because I know Tony's got a project that he's working on coming up, and we'll let him talk about that. But I've got a project called Exit 183 to Violence that we launched a couple weeks ago, and it's Japan footage that's never been seen from 2008. And this is archived World Underground stuff, and it's never been seen with guys that moved on to bigger companies in Japan and all. And I started watching this footage, and it was really incredible, but it only had one problem, and it was just really dry. So the Japanese said, well, you can commentate over it because they knew I was crazy. Well, now they're calling me the crazy commentator in Japan, and the guys are really happy with the product. And they're starting to really share it all over, and now we got it on Twitch and YouTube. So like I told the people earlier, if you can check out Exit 183 to Violence, please do. It's a passion project from the company, and we really like it. Now, Rob goes back to SCW and back to the day. Tony is one of my road dogs who I run with Japan with. If you can hold on for 1 second, Rob, because I know Tony's back east. So he's up later. So I want to talk a little bit with Tony because Tony's my buddy.
I will hold and just.
Well, chime in whenever you need to. But I'm just going to make the focus of this part about Tony because he's up later. I try to be coordinate all this correctly. I have a big announcement to make too while we're on the air. A lot of people are tuning in to see who my big industry guest is for next week. You have to wait till the end. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. Then I'm not going to tell you to the very end, right before the end of sign off time, and we go in the overflow. I will tell you. I will tell you that one guest we're going to have the promoter of Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, John Bullard, will be on here next week, who's running TV for the first time in Chicago in many years since the last project on WGN. Very connected promoter, guy to network to if you're in the business, and who's very knowledgeable and trying to really help people in the business. So I think that'll be a really good listen and learn. And if people want to call in and talk to him, absolutely, we're all into that. And I also want to thank Al that called in last week about the Black Lives Matter, who was just so articulate and so well-spoken. If you're listening, Al, call in tonight. I really like you. You were awesome, and thank you for your input last week. And I have a big guest, I will tell you, but not till the end. So, Tony, first thing that we're going to talk about before we get to what Tony's got going on is I have a big announcement, and Tony and I talked about it before we got on the air tonight. And I've been working on a passion thing for over 2 years, and tonight I finally signed the deal and got it done, and it's a work of passion for me for many years. My dream has been for World Underground Wrestling to have its own action figure line. Problem is, it's just such an expensive undertaking, and finding the right people and a quality producer and blah, blah, blah. I went to the Philippines looking when I was there wrestling. I've been to Japan looking at factories. I've been to Mexico. So I finally made my decision, and we went with a company in Mexico that produces a great product. And I'm proud to announce that we have placed our first cash order tonight, and the first 3 figures in the line have been picked. And the individuals have all been notified that are the first 3 figures, and that is being leather. Now I got to get these names right because I had to put them exactly right on the name tags because I have custom plates on the boxes. There's a figure called Chainsaw Tony Wing Spirit, and that is an awesome figure. It's Tony. It's hard to explain. It's Leatherface from Wing Spirit. It's that simple. And the Leatherface that appeared in World Underground, it's from a time when he showed up and helped Squatch and I win the titles. It's that big. It's that outfit, that moment from that time is when that figure is coming out in the line. Also, Squatch, my tag team partner, is getting his own figure. It's the Snow Mountain Monster Squatch figure, which I'm really excited with this current leopard-looking mask and outfit. And the Ron Von Hess Shinjuku Madness figure. That is line 1. Those are the first 3 figures that will be coming out in this action figure line. And I'm very proud of this because Tony is a beloved friend of mine, as is Squatch, who's like my best friend and brother. So my road wife and another brother from another mother. So I'm super excited that we get to be the first figures in the line. There'll also be some keychains coming out and some other merchandise. So World Underground Wrestling's been putting out jewelry, rings, so much cool stuff the last couple of years. And Tony has a ton of merchandise, and I'm going to let him plug too, because when I was in Japan, I saw Tony's merchandise, and Tony always has incredible stuff. And Tony is a fast shipper because I bought stuff from Tony. And if you get stuff from Tony, he ships it to you fast, and you get it fast, and it's quality stuff. I think I've worn my Leatherface shirt that he's probably like 50 times, and it hasn't really shrunk, and it hasn't faded. If you don't believe me, hit me up. I'll take a picture, and I'll show it to you from my house. It still looks like brand new. And, Rob, you've seen I wear it all the time. I put many pictures of me wearing that shirt online. So it's one of my favorite shirts. So, Tony, what do you think, man? Action figure. What do you think?
Yeah, a whole lot going on. I had, there's a guy here in Jersey, just local wrestling promotion, a good fan. He just made one for me to sign. He didn't make them for mass production because for that template alone and everything that he went through to make it is like $175, just for him to break even. So it's a chance for people out there to get their own stuff. And me, myself, still working on WWS DVDs, and I just got a whole bunch of FMW stuff in. What I intend to do in the near future is to do my own commentary on this stuff so that people can understand what is going on when they watch Wing World Spirit or FMW or a spot show that we did and interesting stories. And I'll provide all that stuff on commentary because clearly and obviously I was there. So, people won't be so lost in the dark when they review stuff like that. They're going to look at it and be like, oh, is that what's going on here? Versus somebody who thinks they know what's going on, and there's the obvious language barrier that always gets in the way and that kind of thing. There's several small, independent shows that I did outside of there that people wouldn't understand what's going on with them explaining it because on some of these, me and myself, I'm speaking in Japanese, and I know people wouldn't begin to understand what I'm saying. So I could easily explain what's going on and all that stuff. And we talk about passion project of mine, just to sit, watch old DVDs, do commentary, enlighten people, give backstories, fun facts, that kind of thing, everything that happened back in the day. Everything from the mode and mood of the locker room to the guys that were there, some of the backstage stuff that was going on and that kind of thing. I mean, all this stuff is out in the open nowadays anyway. So now interesting trivial facts because I got to sit in on a lot of the booking meetings with WWS. And even as I speak now, I am fast forwarding through DVDs to make sure that all this quality footage. So, and the ball gets rolling on this stuff soon. It's I can remember one night when I was just sitting over there and I rambled on YouTube for over 2 hours, just filling people in of the independent bookings I have, stuff that's coming up, this, that, and the other. And this is kind of like one of those deals where it's just me catching people up with what I've been doing, what's being done, and what's for the near future. And, of course, I got my buddy coming with me in October, permitted that this coronavirus doesn't provide too much of an obstacle in the way. I got my buddy Lowlife Louie from the East Coast. He's very well known. He's known out in the Midwest, too. He's appeared in a bunch of deathmatch tournaments. He is the current reigning H2O heavyweight champion. So he's going with me right around October. That's always been my WrestleMania, especially for who I am and what I do under the mask. So there's all that good stuff. I even have new gear ordered. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. A whole lot of shit coming up. A whole lot of work to do. But Passion Project, it all floats by in about 5 minutes. I mean, I could sit here and I could ramble for 3 hours, and it would just feel to me like I've been on with you guys for 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's definitely the buzz topic of right now. I'm just glad I haven't caught it. For you and I being world travelers, you and I have been a lot of places this year, exotic places, and neither you or I caught it. So, and I'm in the risk group. I'm in the high risk category at my age. So, 50 to 72 is the high risk group, and I'm in that risk group. So, not to age myself, but yeah, I am 2 years into that risk group almost, a year and some months. So, I'm not real happy about that. So, I'm wearing my mask and practicing my social distancing for sure.
Leaving Japan and headed straight to Kenya, there was so much paranoia in me of, A to Z, what you could pick up. They got malaria, they got mosquitoes over there the size of most people's heads. So, it was all that paranoia going into everything, and I just wanted to be able to make sure that I would enjoy myself without not worrying much about what's out there and what's floating around out there. So, I took so many shots and had all that stuff and everything, and that was coming straight from Japan into there. And then I get back stateside, and not even 2-3 weeks later, the entire pandemic, which is like the weirdest thing imaginable, the whole coronavirus thing. But, gotta work through it, what else can we do? Sit around and make up our own excuses,
For sure.
Yeah, it's a crazy time in this damn world, So, every day you wake up and just read something more terrible, or somebody lost somebody, or, I think for a lot of people, if they don't know somebody's sick, or they don't know someone who got sick, or know someone who lost somebody, that it's not real for them. But I can tell you that I know people that have got it, and I know people that have survived it, and I know we've lost some people, and it's a rough deal, and should be taken seriously. I love traveling like you do, Tony, but, I love doing shows, but shit, man, I've never done more sitting around. I don't even have my gym open yet. Like, it really sucks here right now. Like, it's like we're at pretty much a dead stop. And for me, I have some stuff that I keep myself creatively busy, but, like, I have to go for long walks with my dog and stay real busy because there's just nothing going on right now. It's killing everything here. And it's just, you can talk about the pandemic forever, but that's depressing, and that's Wednesday night. No one's going to get over a hump day by being depressed.
For sure.
But I have a question, Tony. So what kind of merch are you selling right now? Because you've always got some pretty kick-ass merch. Like, what kind of merch? You have any merch available for the Leatherface fans that are on here right now, which will undoubtedly be listening?
Oh, absolutely. There are tons of DVDs. Still got like at least 10 different autograph 8x10s out there. Just the newest T-shirts, the very newest ones with the shot of me in Shinkiba First Ring, where I'm going nuts after I got I finally got my victory over Ricky Fuji. And it's funny, I'm sitting here doing these DVDs now and making sure all this footage is here. I actually just sat there and I witnessed a match for my handheld of Ricky Fuji against the Sheik. The original Sheik.
Wow.
Yeah, can you imagine? The Sheik, like, well into his 70s, wrestling Ricky Fuji in Japan. It's just
That's amazing.
Ricky knows everybody, though. Ricky literally works and knows everybody. He was just on Liger's YouTube show, Justin Thunder Liger's YouTube show. If you go on his thing on the latest episode, he's got Ricky on there. I know, dude, it's a weird deal for me because, like, you remember, Tony, as you and I have talked about many times when we first met, I wanted to go to Japan, but I was like, I told you, I said, I'll see you there one day. I didn't know how. I just felt it would happen. And I fell in with Ricky and Fugo and got really lucky, but I always am kind of amazed at how lucky I am to get to wrestle against him and work with him all the time, with all the talented people he's worked and everything he's done. Like when you were there, when we did that big thing in Tokyo when we won the belts, when I won my first, people don't realize that was mine and Squatch's first win as a team in Japan. That was our first win in Japan for either one of us. Neither one of us had ever won a match. And not that matters. And a lot of wrestling fans go, it don't matter if you win or lose. Well, fuck you. At least you care if you win or lose, okay? You don't always care. But when you've been wrestling a long time, you'd like to score a win or two, or at least be pushed. And when we scored that win and we got to beat Ricky and Fugo and you came out and all that, and it was the biggest ever thing, and I got juiced. Remember, I was juiced from head to toe. Remember, I got live wire freshly squeezed. It was.
I got to try to get the footage of me and Takase on top for the WWS heavyweight belt. My arm got cut up so friggin' bad. This thing is so damn deep that even to now, there's like this scar. It bubbles on the side of my arm. It's the weirdest looking thing I've ever. And it covers a lot of ground, but it's also the night that I actually teamed up with Takase, which is like the first in the history. I've been wrestling the guy, and I've been like, it's only been the last 5-6 years I've been wrestling him for the title, but he was one of the original dojo boys, Pogo's dojo guys in the WWS promotion. So literally, I saw that guy enter that dojo from day one, and he has been on every single WWS show. He's never missed one single one. And good luck finding somebody with a ratio like that as much as those people have ran, because they also run with a subsidiary promotion, too.
My favorite thing that I ever saw. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
Oh, no, they also – no, they do the old cat fighting promotion, too, WWS, and as well as the Yappy promotion, which doesn't take place in a ring. It's just like it's weird and bizarre, the setting, but it's like in a really nice, like well-to-do, like ballroom, and they sit there and they serve people all kinds of food. It's strange and bizarre, which when I get footage like this, I want to be the first one to tell people like what is going on, how this all came to be. I can even go into detail about like sponsorship and that kind of thing. But, the floor is yours, man. I'm just rambling.
Well, no. I just wanted to know. I agree with you. But the whole thing about you and I learned in Japan, though, is that you don't have to have a ring to have a show there, that they're so creatively ahead on the curve that they realize that entertainment is entertainment. So they've taken pro wrestling to so many different levels, whether it's Fugo's concept of the 12-foot ring with the chains, or the no-ring concept, or the mats on the floor, like we just saw Alki Balin, from India. Remember he fought Minoru Suzuki recently for that. Remember it was that lady that's with AEW that wrestles with the mustache and all. Do you remember that gimmick in Japan? That chick, I can't remember her name. I know you know who she is.
Oh, yeah.
She runs that dojo. She runs that dojo. Yeah.
There, too, is, and like, when it popped up online, I got a lot of, like, heat from people out there going, it's sleaze. A couple of people went, it's sleaze. I go, everybody, and trust me, everyone in Japan does them. Everybody does them.
Oh, yeah, it's an honor.
You do it at bars. You do it in all kinds of places. Everybody, Kota Ibushi, the entire roster of DDT, 666, those people, the entire
They
New
fought
Japan,
on the subway. Remember, they wrestled on the subway. Remember, on the subway train.
Yeah, it was the one that we did at the campsite and that kind of thing. I mean, everybody. When I say everybody, it'd be the equivalent of Shawn Michaels to AJ Styles to everybody in the history of the WWE, pretty much. Just imagine them.
Money.
Yeah, just imagine their counterculture. Just imagine like they're the same kind of person that they are. The same standing, the same power, the same everything. Those guys, Kota Ibushi, all the top guys in New Japan, everybody, because a lot of them came from that not 666, Jesus, DDT. They came from that promotion, so it's the norm there. It translates badly, the way that the Japanese culture is and the way that things are over there. American people wouldn't begin to grasp the concept. They just look at it and go, oh, are they like backyard wrestling? And it's like, you have no idea the guys with the level of talent that they have to call a guy like Ricky Fuji or somebody like that, like a backyarder, or like a Ken Kataya, who is pretty much like the Christopher Daniels of Japanese wrestling. Like, you're going to call that guy a backyarder because he's not wrestling inside of a ring. It's like, if you don't understand the Japanese culture, please don't bother viewing it. You wouldn't begin to understand any of it. You're just
well,
better
the
off.
ignorance of the product is disgusting at that point because so much like these guys are like Minoru Suzuki is one of the most incredible wrestlers on the planet, and when he's doing their shows, that pretty much says it all, right there. He recently just did a big one, as we all saw. I mean, and it was taped for a bit, just for a big YouTube company. I mean, Minoru Suzuki, dude, he's a man. He's like all the realism.
They had an old FMW show that took place in 90 or 91, and just as a way to stir up publicity, they made sure that the ring wouldn't show up. So literally, they had to wrestle on mats. It was in front of 3,000 people in an arena. So, even then, even with the limitations of not having a ring, it's absolutely incredible to see a tag team match, and the limitations and how they get around it, and just how hard and much harder that they work to compensate for the fact that there is no ring. It's like the DDT promotion.
Telling a story is telling a story.
Yeah, the 666. They're a little. They're the actual like little sister, the bastardized promotion of DDT. All of their matches that take place in their dojo are not in the ring, but it's incredible like how guys are at the basics alone because they're taught to wrestle with or without a ring. You think you need to bounce off the ropes to have a decent match in the confines of professional wrestling? Like, you don't. And there's living proof right there. I saw one.
Well, you need your basics to not die. Right?
One of the single matches I saw was the smaller Saitama Pro Wrestling Council put on this, card, and it was like in a really nice ballroom with like carpet on that. It was just strange to look at. But when you look at it, and this match took place without a ring, it was bell to bell, one of the most incredible things I've ever seen, especially with the limitations given. Like, it just deserves extra points. But by the end of it, you forget that it's not even taking place in the ring because you're watching all these incredible roll-ups, inside cradles, sunset flips, everything that you could imagine taking place inside of the ring pretty much takes place in this thing.
I'm sorry, I'm doing a thing right now. I'm putting something on Facebook. It's on the advertisement that you guys are on live right now. You can do so much from the studio.
I'm here going through a video catalog, making sure that all the videos that are cataloged are actually on the DVD. I sat there and pretty much memorized just by watching it what it was. It's like, I mean, where else do you get to see like a hand with Ricky Fuji teamed up with Onita against Big Titan and Dr. Luther? Come on. This is like sitting here right in front of me. So this is the kind of stuff that I like give my time to. Great deal of passion, going through like DVD listings, dates, matches that were held, trivial notes. I can't help but make my own wise-ass commentary on some of the stuff that I view that's really bad, and I know it. I can't help but sit there and say, like, look, this is terrible. You got to see this to believe it. To me, it's all forms of professional wrestling. It can't just be one thing. Some of the most entertaining stuff I've ever seen has been, like, low-end, what they call Japanese Sleaze wrestling, where there's barely any people in the audience, and it's usually guys you haven't heard of before, which is why they draw so poor. But the idea is just so wacky and out there that, I remember, like, one card from the people in the Shinjuku, Mat Ward Pro Wrestling. They had an entire roster of, like, imposters. Like, I was like a fake Tarzan Goto, and they had a fake Onita. These are people that have never portrayed these characters before. It's just a bunch of guys pretty much goofing around. But, it's comedy, hilarity, therefore. Some of the stuff is to be taken serious, and you can see what matches are. The other stuff is meant to just be something kind of like a joke that everybody's in on.
Unfortunately, some people aren't in on the joke, and they are really offended by it because, American audiences get offended very easily, and they just don't understand where their traditional American wrestling is. And it's fun to kind of play with those emotions and freak people out a little bit.
Yeah. On top of it, you see a lot of like talent that's coming up that's really good that we're really going to break in. Like, I'll give you one right now. Black Buffalo, who has been with All Japan now seemingly forever. He wrestled as Ken the Box, like Rival to the Theater, right?
Yeah.
Now, he stayed around for years under all these really strange gimmicks. Educator Mamagon, where it's an evil teacher trying to guy to read a book. Yeah, and all that stuff that's like sleaze and everything, like Black Buffalo, he had to come from somewhere. And he was doing stuff like that. There's the one Watermelon Headman match. That was Misawa.
Yeah.
It's like, lo and behold, it's like, yeah, so stuff like that. It's just a guy's day off. They're just going to slip on a hood and, hey, it's not like anybody's going to judge him or say nobody wants to take you serious. Did this or that.
And you get to test some different things out, I assume, and maybe add to your emotional IQ and figure out how to be a better wrestler. I think it's very freeing when you get to work out under a mask because you don't have the expectations of your normal character.
Yeah, when in the mid-'90s, when I first was brought in, when I first started going to Japan, they would have me under like Ultramarine Power, like Invader, Alien from Outer Space. They would turn around, have me wrestle as the Yellow Mummy. Then they would turn around, have me wrestle as one of the Demonoids. So it was like stuff like that, like, they go just.
Well, and you learn to work, like you learn to play to the crowd, and once you do that, once you release all of your preconceived
Jerry
notions.
Can have to control the dogs because they're home. We're going to set the dogs.
Ron,
I'm here.
You're not muted though. you're talking to your wife.
No, I'm telling her.
And the dogs in the middle of a conversation?
No, my kids are coming home with the dogs, and I don't want the dogs to upset the broadcast.
Well,
so I'm telling my wife to go stop the dogs from freaking out, so you guys don't have to hear that. Sorry about that. I should have muted my mic.
No, it's okay. I'm just fucking with you, man. But
I know I should have muted my mic, but I was in the middle. I'm doing like 3 things at once right now because you guys are talking so good. I'm making myself some potato chips and dip.
Well, yeah, a B and C mic generally helps.
No, it's almost midnight here. I was going to make me a midnight snack after a shower and a couple slices of pizza, wake up tomorrow, go to my regular job, and do it all over again. Yeah, like I was saying before, the Japanese, their mentality was, you're under a mask, so don't worry about your facials. Let your body do all the expressions. Now, at the time, you're 20, 21 years old. What the hell do you know? But, eventually I listened because I was tired of getting my ass kicked because I wasn't doing what I was told. But I was just a lucky idiot to be there. I just refused to soak in the knowledge because I was like, I want to do all the moonsaults and I want to do swantons. And I didn't realize all that stuff, if you're doing that at such a young age, it's not going to last long.
Yeah.
But
well,
I was able to place it sparingly in places,
Yeah. When I was in high school, I was an actor, and I was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It was my last play of high school, and I was super pissed off that I couldn't play the Jack Nicholson character because I was giant, and they put me as Chief Bromden.
I was going to guess that, yeah.
Yeah. And I had to just act in my body, like just showing emotion through my body, just reacting to everything without facial and without smiling, without doing anything with my face. I had to act in a scene, and that taught me a lot. And I use that to this day.
It was around 2001, 2002 where Pogo, he started having problems with fucking leather. And the first one he was having, the visa issues. So Pogo was like, in some of the towns, we're going to have you come in. And at first, I jumped for joy. Then I realized, shit, I'm going to have to do that damn moonsault. Oh, my God. Now I'm going to have to carry a fucking chainsaw every goddamn. I didn't realize how rough it would be. We weren't touring with the same group. I was still doing indie. So lo and behold, I didn't have a ring truck to stick it on that we'd go to the next town.
Yeah.
I would have to take it with me and haul to the next booking, wherever it was. Where I got to put it up to make sure it was safe. So, I mean, I constantly at that time, I used Pogo's apartment to, dump all my crap at. The only problem was he lived in Gunma, which is 3 hours outside of Tokyo.
Oh, man.
There was a ton of back and forth. There was a ton of get up at 5:30 to catch the first train to make sure that you make, and then go 2 hours south of Tokyo. So that's 5 hours total in traveling, just to barely get.
Or you're carrying the chainsaw around all the time.
Yeah. In the middle of time, you're sweating. People are looking at you nuts. You're halfway getting in gear because you're late. You know that you're late.
Yeah. I was talking to a talent, and we were trying to repackage him, and he had a whole gimmick, and I suggested that he has a prop. And then I thought, man, this is just a bad idea. I should never have suggested that. Now he always has to use the prop. He always has to carry it around. That unless you are Leatherface, it is hard to pull off a prop as a young worker.
The thing is, with a place with SPWF, they always had the murder outfit. They already had it there. In places like IWA Kokusai, and then Go Ryun with JRS Go, or Pioneer Sensei, or he would always come in with different places and finance, Florida Baka and all that. He would always find different financiers. But that was the second one. But the third one was Pro Wrestling Crusaders, PWC, which was the first actual dojo that they sent me to back in '94. And they always had the outfits there. The only thing is, if you wrestled in that outfit, you had to take it home and clean it yourself. So that was cool. You knew that you were booked on the next one. But when I was using the outfit and I was showing up at IWA Kokusai, they're like, we told you. We branched off from those people, so it's heat if you're working for them. I'm an independent. What do you want me to do? I as long as I'm not signed with anybody. Then came the thing where they were we paid for your flight. We're not going to work with that office to try to get some of the money that we spent for your plane ticket. You have to stay loyal to us. And it was just in dealing with who I'm going to go to. I could give 1,000,001 stories where pressure was put on me, or, it was my pay in one place wasn't as great, but I got more bookings there versus, it's stuff like that. Yeah, which I didn't care about more money for less work because there was more dates. So, it didn't entirely become about money, too. And, I would go to Pogo often, and I'd be like, the hell am I going to do? And some of the advice that he gave me was great advice at the time, but it's no, you can do that because you're so established and you're such a going. Me, I'm just lucky to fucking be here. I can't argue with these Japanese people. So of course when he started booking me out and getting a split of the pie, it was always in his best interest to make sure they used that. I could skip to a story in 2014 where it's one of my favorite opponents, and I go in there thinking, God, I get to return the favor. Man, I'm going to make him shine. Man, this guy always brings out the best in me. He made me look so good. Well, then I show up at Battleweight. That's owned by Raiden, and booked. The entire thing was booked by Tiger Chung Lee, Kim Duck. And next thing I know, Pogo's putting in a call going, that guy's got to go over, man, because he's in my main event against Onita over here in WWS. So it always became like stuff like that where I'm like, man, I'm caught in the middle of all shit, and I don't want these people to think that it's me calling him and telling him, you know, I can do this, I can't do that. It's like I don't want people to think like that I'm so dependent on him, but, you know, it's like what else can you do but kind of roll with the punches? And then it drives you late at night because you were, you know, up late at night, like overanalyzing, like, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What are these people asking me? Every company I wrestle for, trying to give it my all, and then it's like, well, our motto here is make this company number one. And then you go and you work for somebody who, you know, we're at odds with or whatever, and it's just like, man, I just want to throw my hands in the air and almost give up. But, you know, it's so far rewarding when, you know, I've had a match that I feel I gave the people the money's worth. You know, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what name I was under at the time, I just felt more proud. Like this past time in Japan, I did a bunch of bookings as just myself, and I never really realized like how that would just keep adding to a layer of things. But I was like, it was so dramatically different if I'd go in there and Tony Myers, and here I am doing everything in the entire book. You know, just to stand out and stuff that I haven't done in years, doing lung blowers, shining wizards, and all kinds of.
Well, the like depth of your knowledge, like you've been a pro wrestler a long time, and you know a lot of stuff. It works for Leatherface in one context, but it works for Tony Myers in a whole different context.
Yeah, it's like I still, at 46 years of age, I still love doing drop kicks. I don't know why that. I love taking hip slams. I love taking hip tosses out of the corner. It's like, this is all the stuff I like to do, but it's also some of the stuff I derail from if I'm like, I want to do something different tonight. I don't want to just do, you know, go through the motions and do what I'm going to do. Like, and then, until it became a thing where it was like, I'd wrestle on the undercard, Tony, and come back with the, you know, and it's like some people
with the chainsaw, and
like the Tokyo people are the most sophisticated, smart, or they call them smart marks here in America. They're the smartest crowd. They know who everybody is. You know, you could wrestle under a bed sheet. They know who you are. So I mean, it's not like you're exposing.
Well, and they appreciate. I mean, they appreciate the art of it, and like we are so far post kayfabe that you can enjoy wrestling on a whole different level.
It's like
and people
who are wrestlers trying to work. You know what I mean? Like they'll have like Kevin Owens. They'll have like Kevin Owens do a documentary special, and he's talking about a match he had a month and a half ago, WrestleMania, and he's talking openly about the politics and how they called the match. What's the correct time of limitations before you can speak about any of this stuff? You know what I mean? I mean, you look now, Undertaker's granting everybody interviews. He could be on this podcast with us tonight because it's not that he doesn't have anything better to do. It's finally, after all these years, he gets to climb out under that mask and, you know, or not mask. You know what I mean? He gets to put his guard down and just have fun.
Exactly. He gets to live a post-wrestling life and reflect on all of the great things he did, and he protected the business the whole way, and now he gets to talk about it.
Yeah, and people don't realize that in itself is like, that's like so much fun. You know, I mean, you never thought there would come a day and age where you could just be so free and open. But like I said, you're dealing with people that are so sophisticated, so smart that you just feel like a complete idiot telling them like, oh, no, I don't know who that guy under the mask is. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You and Ricky Fuji have wrestled 700 times. And now in SPWF, it's like, clearly it was you under the mask. We could see the people that you traveled with. We knew by your mannerisms that you're the only American guy with round eyes under a mask. It's like pretty much a good giveaway, you know? You know, Ricky Fuji's wrestling, doing like a bear gimmick. But that's always been the thing about SPWF was, you know, just the wackiness, the overall, you know, but it's the bell rings, everybody gives it their all anyway. So it's not like,
I worked for a promotion that would be very similar to Japanese Sleaze, called 3-2-1 Battle. And we were very much known for risque stunts and just crazy storylines. And we had characters that, like, one of the wrestlers was the bird or the gimmicks, and it was passed around.
Hold on 1 second. I have to say something real quick. The
Yeah.
Ron Von Hess Full Jugular Show does not endorse 3-2-1 Battle in any way, shape, or form. Opinions of Rob Milliron are his and only his. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but the gimmick was passed around, like you were talking about. Like, they had the monster gimmicks, but we had the bird gimmick, and the bird gimmick lasted 10 years probably, and he finally won the title belt and was the big man for a moment. And we also gimmicked a referee called Jeffery, and he was the classic indie wrestler under a mask posing as referee, but he had a backstory, and people got into that.
It's no different than anything else. It's you look back in the annals like Chicago local wrestling, history, and starting out like Steel and Dane's Dominion, like the guys that train like CM Punk, Colt Cabana.
I am very familiar.
All those people on that roster were under that goon gimmick. The guy that used to wrestle in Memphis, Rock and Randy, came back to the Goon Squad gimmick that was being done in Tennessee at the time, and like their entire undercard was this Goon Squad, and then like every night, like Punk, Cabana, all those guys did double and triple duty on those masks. So I mean, it's not only like a money saving thing; it's just to get experience and ring time.
Hey guys.
Yeah. And trying out things that may become a gimmick, or you get to live in somebody else's gimmick before debuting your own.
Yeah. Not only that,
so I have a question when you guys are ready that I'd like to ask going into all this, and that is with the laser hot show right now, which is the one that's on Vice TV, Dark Side of the Ring. What did you guys think, and did you see, which I'm sure you both did, the New Jack episode, which shows him pretty much living his character and the line, him blur, not only protecting the business, but blurring the curtain line so much. I mean, whoo, that was a wild ride, that Dark Side of the Ring. Basically saying, I tried to kill, like, when he did the taser and threw the guy off the thing and said he tried to kill him, and oh my goodness gracious, that was crazy shit. Anyone who knows New Jack, I met New Jack in Philly and in Kutztown, Pennsylvania, and I only had one thing to say about Mr. Jerome, and that is he is intense.
Yeah,
well, he sounds like a hell of a guy, and I don't want to say anything bad.
No, I don't. Nobody says anything bad about Jerome. Not if they want to live.
Survival Till Beat himself told me how bad he wants to wrestle New Jack. But yeah, New Jack, he's not. I don't know if he's living his gimmick. It's just that's him. That's pretty much who he is.
He pretty much is his gimmick. That's the point, and that it's for him. It's all about real life, and the business was what he had. And I found that I loved his candor in the episode and how honest he was about doing coke. I thought the end question was, how does he see the story ending? And he's sitting in the wheelchair doing coke, flipping everybody off. And I thought, fucking classic.
There's only one like him, man. There'll never be another like him either. Anybody else will come up cheap imitation of him. You know what I mean?
So we're going to take, guys, we have a little traditions on this show. So if you have anything to drink, it doesn't have to be alcoholic because Rob's a recovering alcoholic. If you have anything you're drinking right now, our toast of the show, this show.
I've got a body armor.
You have a body armor? Okay, Tony, what are you drinking right now?
Labatt Ice.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take a lot of shit because I'm drinking a Mike's Hard Lemonade. But we're all gonna toast. Tonight's toast of the night of this show is for New Jack. New Jack, this is just for being you and being real. You're our toast of the night. Toast up, guys.
Right on, man.
Prost.
All right. And that toast was sponsored by Kitsap Cannabis. 2 locations, Port Orchard and Silverdale, Washington. And if you go into the Port Orchard store, you'll probably run into me, Ron Von Hess. Say hello. Ask me some questions. That's my favorite place. Enough said. Kitsap Cannabis. Smoke there. All right. Thank you. So that takes care of our second of 3 ads for the sponsor. Guys, Tony, so I also have something I need to say to you live on the radio. Last time when we were in Japan, Tony took really good care of me and Super Beast and took us to the gym, to Animal Hamaguchi's gym, where we got to work out, and he gave us these towels that are like that he doesn't just give anybody, and took us out to eat in places and took us around and took us to shows. And man, Tony, just thank you so much for being like, you're younger than me, but in a lot of ways in Japan, you're like my big brother. And you came in and let me play Chop Top and tag with you in that great match at BCW and that match at World Underground. You're just one of my favorite people. You know that you and I have known each other a long time. We met each other before we even knew each other in wrestling. We just met each other, and I'll never forget you were just first starting in Japan, and everybody was bugging you to go, but I was the guy that came to you and said, I'll see you there. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I think social media has made that like an onslaught, like brought on much worse because people will see me surface there and they'll be like, hey, there's a guy that looks like he could get me in. And it's just, you know, like how ridiculous is that just to ask some random guy that most of the people I've never met, it's like, would you at least try to be friends with the guy, you know, make sure he can help you out? I mean, but some of the angles that people have used to try to get to know me or friends of mine just for the sake of going there have been like ridiculous. Like you feel like ashamed of people when you find out.
Well, I never knew your frustration until I started wrestling there regularly like you did. I don't know to the extent you do, but you know I got some pretty good gigs going there. I will tell you that I get the same people bugging me now, and the truth is, folks, Tony could get you booked over there, and I could too, but we won't because you got to earn it, and else they won't respect you, and it really won't happen anyways. It's like the first time I saw Tony on video over there, Tony was falling. This is what I was trying to say earlier is Tony fell down into an explosion, like a barbed wire explosion thing on the ground outside the ring. And I was watching it with my wife, and we were just like, holy shit. Like you saw Tony's skin, like his clothes burn off and the smoke fly out. And my wife looks at me and goes, is that what you're going to be doing in Japan? And I went, fuck no. I said, Tony had to bust his ass to get to do that shit in Japan. I go, everybody thinks that they can just go to Japan because they're willing to be a dumb shit and get thrown in barbed wire, and they can just get it. They don't understand Tony's doing this as a main event thing. This is an honor because they trust him. They don't just throw anybody in a match with explosives.
No, there's too many precautions that have to be used, especially if those things hit you the wrong way. Oh, forget it. I mean, man, you could ask Ricky Fuji. I was there one day when he burned his stomach so bad, and it was just this dark, brownish, disgusting color. And he was there when one of the buttons on my shirt melted to my stomach, you know. So But these were situations that guys like he and I were put in, like main events that had been built and built and built. It wasn't just like, hey, let's throw this idiot into barbed wire. Or, hey, we're paying him a lot of money to throw him into barbed wire. It wasn't like that at all. It was being positioned by that company to be that guy that's going to go in there, wrestle the boss, wrestle the big hero. It wasn't. I hate when people think that that's all it takes. It's like, no, those are all main event matches with that promotion. You have to work your way up to that. They're not going to take somebody that they've never heard of and just throw them in there and be like, oh, here we go. If they do that, someone's busting your balls, and it's probably a rib anyway. But I think I get my friends booked there, and it's a direct result of guys that have worked very hard, guys that I know that are reputable, trustworthy, and guys who are not going to come in and try to undermine and be like, I'll tell you what, Tony's doing it for a lot more money. I'll do it for a fraction of that. You don't have to put me in a nice hotel. It's like, you're wrecking the curve. You're destroying, the norm. You're pulling it down and making it look like Americans are goofs and
too thirsty. Way too thirsty.
Yeah, way too needy. And it never works out right for them either. Those people, after a few times, you never see them invited back. They're not invited back. They got them for what they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used them for the idiot that they are.
Well, sometimes you need idiots, and you use them and never talk to them again. All right, Ron, leave the show.
I've got something I need to say real quick too. Is we're very picky who we and by the way, 503, which I'm pretty sure is Anthony. I know I've got you on hold. I'll click you in a minute. You always have a lot of background noise. I don't want to have that on the broadcast. I want to say that we're going to be running as soon as COVID is over and Washington opens up. We're going to be running our second Japan camp here. And I'm always really picky who I bring in here because I only bring in people that we really work with at World Underground, because bringing in just random stars doesn't really do much as far as telling a story. If we're a World Underground company, we need to be telling World Underground stories. Well, as far as this second Japan camp goes, there's a lot of people I've met in the last year that have really impressed me with their knowledge of how to do things and what's right. So like I talked to Tony earlier tonight, when we have the Japan camp, I'm proud to say that the people that will be at this year's Japan camp, or next year, depending on how COVID shakes out, it's going to be a surprise gentleman from Japan, who I won't say who that is yet, but it's a star. It's going to be Ricky Fuji, Master Fugo, so those three. Then it'll be Malia Hizaka for the women. She's already signed in. And then we're also going to have Tony there as well. So we're going to have a good group of people working with people at the camp. This is going to be a chance to really soak knowledge and train. And at my camps, everybody gets to wrestle against these people, because that's the whole point of why we do this, is so you guys can get video and can get experience. And I bust my ass to really put out a rewarding camp where guys get nice certificates and guys walk away with something. They don't just feel like I took their money and it was all for nothing. We ran a great camp last year, and I was really proud of that. And everybody, not one person came back at any time and said they didn't feel they didn't get their full value. I was told that for what we did the camp at last year, that it was worth 4 times what we charged for it. So I was proud of that, because I gave all the guys in the business a good value, because I wanted them to get some good training and some great advice. So, Tony, I know it's getting late there and you've got to work tomorrow. If there's anything else that you wanted to add or say, now's your time. Push your merch. Where can these guys buy your T-shirts and buy your DVDs and pictures at? Throw it out there. What can they do?
You can always email me at hysteriawrestling@hotmail.com, or I'm under Facebook under my legal name, Tony Myers, but also too Twitter. It's kind of funny being that Chainsaw guy hijacked both of my Twitter accounts and my Instagram account. So it was supposed to be like Tony Myers, but I don't know. That guy hacked into my account and took it over. But I'm very interactive, very personable.
I love that guy. I love that guy, though, Tony. I love that guy. And that guy's little brother. I love that guy.
That guy, he's out of control, man. I mean,
I love being that guy's little brother. When I get to be that guy's little brother, I get to be a me that is just a nasty fucking me. I love that guy.
But I mean, I'm responsible for the guy in a lot of ways because, and these guys are actually, I've been accused sometimes not of actually being that guy. But no, I'll help him like find a door to get into the arena and that kind of thing. But as far as like hanging out or whatever, no, you won't catch me and him in the same place at the same time. Just asking for trouble. He hates me. There was actually a point in H2O where that guy used my birth name. He called himself Chainsaw Tony Myers. And I still haven't gotten over that one either.
Tony, he copyrighted your name. I had to put it on his action figure.
I'm not blown away. What's funny? I remember it was Onita that came up with the whole Chainsaw Tony thing. He goes, Christ, there's been enough Leatherfaces around here. And he goes, we're going to give him something brand new. And he said, if it's Chainsaw Tony, then Chainsaw Charlie later. And I thought, my God, I'm not going to team me up with no Terry Funk, because he's a whole
I got to
chainsaw.
tell you, there's a chainsaw that he left behind here. And lately, that thing's been like turning on every once in a while, all creepy. It just starts, and then it turns on and turns off. So I always know when you and him are about to come in, because that thing starts warming up and starts going off and on and gets all like, I don't know what it is about that writing that he put on it. That writing lights up. That's the one creepy fucking chain. My wife hates that fucking thing. We have it in a fucking shed out in the yard. She won't let me bring it in the house. True story.
Lucky for me, the one that's here on the East Coast, the blade is actually off. The actual chain is off the blade, so I don't have to worry about any lawsuits. If anybody gets that close to a guy that's wielding that thing, I would advise the hell away because, for obvious reasons. But like I was saying before, I'll wind down so you guys can get to what you got to get to. Also, like I said, I'm very personable. It's those people that'll just send me a message and go, "Hey." Or what's up? It's like, that doesn't really give me a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't give me a whole lot. If I spent my time answering stuff like that, it's like,
why would you want to talk to them?
Yeah, and, it's not to be unfriendly or nothing like that, but it's just one of those things of, like, I get that happens all the time. Even my friends address me as what's up or what's up with you, or hey man, it's happening. But
hey, Tony, do you know what happens? Hey Tony, do you know what happens to me all the time?
I can't begin to imagine.
I go out to bars in Tokyo with my friend Tony and Leatherface and Chris Crody and Squatch and a sponsor. And he gets drunk and all handsy and all over me, and my friends pimped me out for chicken and beer in Tokyo.
Those aren't good friends. You need to find new friends.
I know they are not.
It's man, I remember headed to the one place with Rio, and gosh, I can't remember the other sponsor, man, but. Like times with guys like that where you just get to wind down for the night. Remember the giant plates of food we're eating, stuff like that. I mean, it'll never go away, man. It's memories that have been etched in my memory, and it's never going to leave me, man. Some of the best days of my life. And hey, man, the legendary Animal Hamaguchi. How does it get any bigger than that?
Yeah.
I'm here.
People have only ever heard of it. I mean, his daughter has 3 Olympic medals to show for her run as a wrestler.
Yeah.
So.
They're hanging up in the gym. There's a picture of her winning the bronze hanging up in the gym, remember, with him as her coach. It's hanging up in the gym.
Yeah, and he's got another one where he's picking her up.
Oh, yeah.
She's displaying, yeah, because she has, 2 bronze and a silver. And she's there.
You remember watching him train those kids upstairs, Tony, when he was training those kids to learn how to wrestle upstairs? He was killing those fucking kids.
You could hear them all running in place and their feet like, at him, he's like, 1, 2, 3. You know, he's telling them in Japan, you could do it. Let's go. We all do this. We all do it. He's like, everyone, everywhere does it. And he's like, you wrestle? Is wrestling your life? You love wrestling? How much you love this? Well, let's get all our love out of us because we go back to our regular garbage tomorrow when we're not around here. He's like, let's have fun. He's telling you. That's all the stuff he's saying in Japanese, and it's like the
he's
coolest
so awesome.
I'll overhear
that.
I'm
hey, Tony, the towel that he gave us, I have that towel hanging. I have 2 things hanging above my bed at home. I have the towel that he gave us, and I have this girl that's a fan at World Underground that's special. She won a gold medal at the Special Olympics, and she gave me her gold medal. So I have that hanging above my bed, too.
Man, I worked my whole life, and I could never be deemed special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you, I have the biggest softness in my heart because, you know, so many times growing up, I was told that I was handicapped and all that other stuff. But, I mean, at least I had the opportunity to, a lot of people like that would have loved the opportunity to get to wrestle, but they don't. But, I mean, I think for everyone like that, it's being at Animal Hamaguchi's dojo, and you're looking around, you're seeing all these young guys just busting their ass. People like that are still giving their all the time. There's no reason I'm going to sit around and be a lazy American.
That's why I volunteer with all of them. Like you met when you came down here, Tony. Remember all the people that you met, all the people we work with through World Underground. We're blessed to get to work with so many great people that are special like that are just huge fans of the show. And Rob, you remember too because you were in the office. You know all the special people that we work with. It's a really great deal that we got a real special deal going there, and a real rabid, loyal fan base of special people. And man, I don't just get to wrestle; I get to experience life every time I go to a show. It's almost more fun to be done wrestling and be signing autographs and out giving hugs in the crowd. And that's, I think, what I miss right now during COVID is the interaction of getting to hug the people. And they all write me all the time because they miss me so much and they miss the show. And I know they're listening, and just know, guys, we miss you too. And we miss you and cannot wait to get back. And Tony will be back the first show when we come back. Tony's coming in with his buddy, and they're booked for a show. So, as everybody knows, World Underground's purchasing a steel cage, and I remember, Rob, you asked online, how's that going to fit at Paul Bonita's? I will tell you this. There's 2 plans that we have, both places the cage fit. That's all I can say for now. But this will be the biggest thing to hit the Puget Sound ever.
That's lofty goals, but I mean, shoot for the stars, man.
You know me, Rob. I always do.
At least
there's no reason. Hey, who the fuck wants to be second place? Is the way I've always looked at life, man. Second place is first loser. Let's go for it.
Well, I had a show where people entered in a helicopter, so like I know
Rob,
the spectacle.
Rob, I was in some big matches on that show. That show was awesome.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite wrestling matches. Hey, that was one of my favorite wrestling matches ever, Rob, by the way, was Kevin Sullivan managing Edsel with you and Dude commentating and me wrestling against Edsel as Frankeness. That was off the hook.
Speaking of Kevin Sullivan, this was like years ago. Me and Andrew Anderson did that booking out in, I forget the name of the town in Ohio. But there I saw Kevin Sullivan. He was talking about...
Sorry, I have no idea where in that motherfuck that came from.
Oh, no, I got to wrap up the story. So Kevin Sullivan and I are sitting there, we're talking, and he goes, "You be sure to tell Pogo." I said, "Oh," and I go, "Man, it was funny. He dropped your name. I didn't know how to get a hold of you." Then I kind of forgot about it because I was in the middle of leaving Japan, and he was going in for surgery. And this is like back in 2013, 2014 this happened. And right in front of one of the young guys, like, Sullivan just goes, because, he's always willing to try to help out the young guys. Kevin Sullivan goes, "Maybe we could get some of these young guys here booked there, too." And the young guy that he said that in front of sent me a friend request in like 5 minutes. And when I got back to Jersey, the guy messaged me like a whole times. And I'm just like, oh, no, like, you're not supposed to say that in front of anybody. Like, you say that, especially a young guy, they hear that, they're going to be, oh, my God. Let me follow through on this one, But
like their trainer should have taught them better. Like that's on.
Think.
Yeah, I mean, being trained properly leads you to not stick your foot in your mouth.
All these sleazy stories you hear about wrestling, you never hear one sleazy or bad story about, "Oh, Kevin Sullivan ripped me off," or "he took me for money." You never hear that about the guy, and he's been around wrestling forever. And how many people does he try to? He was just trying to be helpful to the young guys when he said that in front.
That he just shattered records.
Kevin's a great guy.
He just shattered records with that Dark Side of the Ring episode 1 was the most watched show on cable of all time.
Yeah.
70% of that show was about Kevin Sullivan.
And he defended himself recently against the thing with like Nancy and everything. He was like, I'm here to tell you what happened as far as like my story goes. And he never got a chance to tell that. You ever noticed it? All the media that was surrounded Benoit, Sullivan never told his side of the story with her. And now that you're just like, you had to figure something like that.
Guys, I could say a couple things. I want to tell you one thing. As you guys know, I'm Kevin's nephew, and I know a lot. I would like to just say a couple things. One, I have actually driven Kevin to the thing where he has gone out to lunch with the sister that was on the special. The sister that was, and they're very close. And so she doesn't hate Kevin at all. So there's no animosity there. Nancy's family is very close with Kevin. They do not consider Kevin a suspect at all in Nancy's murder whatsoever. And I can tell you unequivocally, without a doubt, Kevin was not involved. He wasn't even in the state. He was with my aunt completely somewhere else. So that's not a conspiracy theory. That's not Satanist bullshit. That's just the God's honest truth. The man just wasn't anywhere around Atlanta when that happened. As much hard it is for people to believe, the man killed his own family. It's not a conspiracy. It's just his wife broke up with him. He freaked out. He got upset, and he killed her. And then he thought his kid would be an orphan and be better off gone, so he made a bet and did that. I mean, that's just what happened.
Yeah.
It's a sad, tragic deal, and breaks my heart to say because I was a big fan of his work and a big fan of the man. I can't say I'm a fan anymore. I can say that I acknowledge what he did in wrestling and his skill level and such and dedication, but I can't support the man on any level based on. Unfortunately, what he did was a you can't go back situation, like Chavo and a lot of his friends said. You can love what the man was, I guess, but you can't love what he ended up being eventually, which is what he'll always be defined by. And that's
one of the nicest guys I know is Chris Jericho. He puts up with a lot of shit. And even when you got Chris Jericho, for him, as loyal of a friend as he can be, when you got him that turns his back on the guy and goes, I know he was like my best buddy, but yeah, that coming from him means an awful lot because it's like I said, when Big Titan died, I've reached out and I go, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, and I said, look, I first met him in Memphis, and then, FMW, he was FMW, I was over in Polo's promotion. Like, I'm sorry, no, let me correct the timeline. I was actually at PWC, and I was trying to get into Wing, and I was trying to get into FMW, and there was Rick Titan. He was still cool with me. And, I told Jericho that story, and Jericho, responded. Then we, talked in inbox messages, and I go, for Jericho to do that, as busy as that guy is, I'm nobody. Why would he do that? You know what I mean? That's a cool dude. That's really good people. To care, to consider somebody never met, really, and I just, after a while, I go, I'm going to leave him alone, until I need to say something to him about something, but I was like, those are the kind of people that you go, they're too busy for me. Leave him alone, and, just know that he's a good person for doing that, because, like I said, he doesn't even need for nothing, but he actually, he did his research and realized that, we were in Memphis together, and Rick was a great guy, too, man. Another prince of a human being. And in the world of wrestling, those are hard to find. That clinking was me putting my beer down.
Hey, that's okay, man. I've refilled mine twice already, so I'm all good to go.
Yeah, well, tonight was one of those things I go, if I have a beer, then get in the shower, then finish the beer, I was like, I'm going to be all fresh, and then I wake up in the morning, and I go to work. Things are great. Me and my 23-year-old here at home.
We miss you, Tony. You were the best house guest when you stayed here. When Tony stayed with me for a week, he was the best fucking, most mellowest house guest I've ever had.
Yeah, I don't try to bother, nobody. My parents will try to get, come over to the house. I've been there a couple times over. And I'm like, my dad turned 80 years old in 2 days. You don't want me hanging here. You don't want me hanging around, trust me. What? Our lives have drastically gone in different directions. They got all these grandkids now, so I just try to stay out of people's way. I don't try to bother no one. But Ron was, great, let me stay. Literally let me do whatever I want. It never bothered me. Or nothing. I got in great shape. I was jogging up to 8 miles a day, getting into, I call it Japan shape. Put up with that, yeah. And every day around Bremerton, I took a different road. So I was going all these different. I put all the albums.
Well, and you got to know the town.
I got
That's
my
right,
own.
Ron, you stayed the night at my house too. So everybody here has slept at my house. Everybody here.
Grateful for it, man. How cool is that? The guy literally opens his door to you. That sounds like me here in Jersey.
Exactly.
My door's open to anybody. Everyone knows my door. Yeah, man. I started medical school in the fall. I'm like, my God. I'm going to miss her.
Well, when you have a couch called the Jeff Cobb couch in your house, you've had a lot of wrestling and a lot of people stay at your house.
The Jeff Cobb couch.
Everybody remembers the Jeff. I don't have it anymore, by the way. We had that roof leak incident here, Tony. Remember where my roof busted after the snowstorm? And the Jeff Cobb couch was one of many pieces of furniture that died from the leak. But now, guys, you'll be happy to know, I fixed the leak. I've remodeled everything, including the living room. We have a matching new, really awesome ottoman, which we're calling the Ricky Fuji ottoman, because I know Ricky is going to end up sleeping on it because he's such a little guy and he likes to be comfortable. And so I have the Ricky Fuji ottoman now, and then Master Fugo is what I named my fold-out couch Master Fugo, because I know that's where Fugo's going to sleep when he's here. So, yeah, so I named him after my buddy. So I got a matching rug and everything. It's all really nice, and getting my ceiling redone in a couple days. House Hess is all back to being 100%. So I'm looking forward to holding court and having guests and having you guys over. Rob, you too, when you're in town, and having a lot more fun. You guys make wrestling. Even Anthony, who's listening, having Anthony over. Anthony's been in my home before, reading scripts and hanging out. Like, I've been blessed that I've opened my home to so many cool people. Why everybody's listening right now, since we are so close to hitting the overflow mark, I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know who my surprise guest is for next week. So next week, not only will we have John Bullard, another person who has stayed in my home several times and is a really good friend of mine, and who's really becoming a big star and becoming into his own. I asked him if he'd be willing to come on the show. Yeah, sorry about that. So next week we will have Shane Taylor from Ring of Honor, former Ring of Honor television champion and all-around great guy. Shane Taylor will be on the show as well. So that's our big industry guest next week, and I'm really excited to have Shane on the show. He keeps it 100% real. He's really involved in the Black Lives Matter movement, and he's spreading wisdom on his page and love every day. I think it's a great get for us as a guest, and just like getting you, Tony, was a great get, and getting you, Rob, and getting John next week. Like, I'm so blessed to have so many industry friends that are like brothers to me, and being able to bring you guys on and have you guys share your stuff and loosen up, because it's like the whole thing of my show is that I always like it just to be like we're all just sitting in the bar chilling out like we always do when we're all hanging out, and that's what it's always like, and you just get the best stories out of everybody and the funnest experience, and then that translates to really good radio. And I just am really honored to have such great friends. I never thought that I would be that lucky. And on that note, it's because of guys like you and guys like Anthony that I was able to do my first documentary about the Philippines this year. And as everybody knows, I'm flying to Arizona to wrestle for Cactus League Wrestling in September, and I'm going to spend a week out there shooting my first ever full-fledged documentary where I'm going to buy a real movie camera and the whole 9 yards and really make some true art. So having great friends has inspired me to be more than I can be, and you guys are just what makes – you guys and my family are what makes this all work for me. So it's just like when I asked you guys to be on the show, I knew you'd say yes because you guys are awesome. And Tony, just thank you for all you do for me and have done for me. You're a true brother and a true friend and someone I admire and look up to and just have a lot of respect for. And so humbled that you let me in your circle because you're so picky about who you let in your circle. So just know I feel really blessed to be part of that. Rob, you too. You are another person that's pretty guarded. Don't let a lot of people in your life, and I'm truly blessed that you and I are such really good friends still after everything we've been through and all that. Like, let me just say I'm super appreciative of our friendship as well. So that's what this show is all about. Like, a lot of people die and things are left unsaid. Like, we're not leaving it on the table here at Full Jugular. We're going to come out and we're going to preach the love, like I said in the show opening thing, that we're going to have similar passions and similar loves in life and brotherhood, and that's what this show is all about. Like, Robbie, you were thinking I was going to put you on the spot about certain things today. That was never going to be what this was about. This show is about love and brotherhood and putting it out there and bringing everybody back in again. Like we talked about doing hands across the world again last night after social distancing is over. We have to do something to bring everybody back together again. We start by on a small level by holding hands with our neighbors and holding hands with our friends and eventually growing to more and more, and then we can fix this country and fix this world and evolve to a place of love to where all this other petty shit won't matter. You guys feeling it?
Yeah, I just wanted to sneak in there, man. I don't know how I'm going to follow that up, but I tend to ramble, which is full bear with me. I feel lucky, man. I feel very fortunate, and to be able to share Japan and that experience, I want everybody to be, just understand their culture, and it's so cool looking at it because they do come out the best in you, man. Ron, I can't thank you enough, man. The time you brought me in, and hanging out with you in Japan, man, I got to meet Beast, who to this day is like one of my better friends, somebody that I feel like I could share everything with, and man, I mean, you get fortunate like that, people like that around you, and for you guys to give me this much of a platform to even talk on this thing, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take the audio, set it to some of those Japanese clips. Now Ron's in there, and let other people share this experience with them, and just be thankful for the platform, because we won't be here forever. We're all human. I'm far from perfect, but whatever I could get out there that's helped other people along the way, I love putting that out there, because somebody entrusted that upon me. And some of the best advice I was given was also from Pogo and Onita, which were two of the biggest idols growing up. Their awesome advice to me was, I said, why are you doing this with this American guy that is his fault? I'm talking about myself. And they both gave me an exact same answer. And they both said to me, somebody had to do that for me when I was in America. And I always thought, wow, I could speak for somebody else. If somebody did that for me, like, yeah, sure. And if you want to learn, like, what not to do, I think I'm great for that. Because God only knows how many things I've screwed up. But for the people that entrusted upon me or listened to me or were friends with me, I'm blessed with that. Could have been dealt with me. And I could think of dozens of people that message them at this hour right now in Jersey. It's like after 1 o'clock or whatever. Those people would be like, those are friends. Like, good luck winding up with a handful of those. But, again, man, thank you guys for the platform and let me get a bunch of crap off my chest, man. And, this whole Corona thing, man, eases up. I talked about, selecting and being very protective, my inner circle, this, that, and the other. And here I let Louis in, man, and this is going to be his big Japan debut. So this is the third time we're trying. The first Pogo passed away, and we couldn't do the tournament. The second was the whole coronavirus. So maybe the third time's a charm, and, me and Louis will be sharing the same experiences. And
crossing my fingers for my brothers that they make it over, because I'm going to follow you in November. I should be there in November.
That's awesome. But, yeah, I need to wind it up, man, because otherwise I'll ramble and repeat myself. But thank you guys so much, man. I do appreciate it. Gotta appreciate you guys.
I need my Tokyo wrestling fix and my Tokyo Japan fix.
All right, I'll let you guys be. I guess I hang up. Is there an official way to cut me off?
Hey, but Tony, don't forget, I have a friend who's listening to the broadcast right now. I have a friend who's listening, and we're going to Japan in November, and you're coming with us, and we're going to go to Tokyo Disney, the four of us.
I'll do it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. You guys take care of me.
And Tony, thank you for calling in, man. You're the best. I thank you so much for giving me your time. Somebody's got a lot of static. Hold on. Let's see if I can fix this. Nope, it's not Anthony for a change. Are you still there? Are you still there, Tony? All right, well, it seems that we lost Tony. It seems that we lost Tony, and I'm pretty sure we lost Rob because his phone died. Tony, thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate all your time and and much love to you. We dropped you and we dropped Rob, which is funny. Both guests. We're gonna in 11 minutes. I can't let anybody back in the queue. If he wanted to call back, if your phone's charged, call back. I'll let you back in the queue. Tony, I know you had to go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I couldn't hear you. Your mic cut out and I couldn't hear you. But I just wanted to let you know, Tony. Thank you once again for all that you do. And like I said, I have a friend coming to Tokyo, and we're gonna spend some. Don't worry, Anthony, we got tons of time for you because we're gonna go into the overflow. Okay.
Okay.
I have an hour of overflow time, and I always use it because these are 3-hour shows for me. And tonight just rolled, dude. Like I said, Rob. Okay.